So now let's build the client side. First, we go to view vehicle.html. So here's our photos tab. Here I'm going to add a new input of type file. Now, next to this input, we can have a button for the user to click to upload the photo. We can also handle the change event here. So when the user selects a photo, we'll upload it immediately. So here I'm going to bind the change event to upload photo. Let's go to our component and implement this method. So view vehicle, component, upload photo. Now here we need to get a reference to this file input. There are two ways to do that. So back to our template. One is to pass this event object here. And then in the component, we can access event.target. However, this approach works only if you're handling the change event. So if you have a separate upload button, we won't have access to this event object. So the other way is to declare a template variable here. Let's call this file input. And then in our component, I will show you how to access this template variable. So back to the component, I'm going to declare a new field here. Let's call it file input. And this is of type element reference because we're referencing one of the DOM elements. Let's import the namespace. So this is defined in Angular/core. Now, in order to link this field with the template variable we defined, we need to decorate this with the viewChild decorator. So viewChild. And here as the argument, we supply the name of our template variable, which is file input. Now let's import the namespace. Once again, this is defined in Angular/core. Okay, now back in our upload photo method, here we can access this .file input.native element. And then let's store the result in a variable called native element. And this is of type HTML input element. So now we have a reference to this file. Next, we need to upload it to the server. So in the services folder, let's add a new file and call it photo.service. Now, a few students have had problem creating a service using Angular CLI. So let me show you another way. We have this plugin for VS Code called Angular v4 TypeScript snippets. I told you about this at the beginning of the course. So when you install this, you can type a-service. Now the first time it doesn't come up, so you have to delete it. And one more time, a-service. Tab. Now we have a service. So let's call this photo service. And of course, we need to manually register this in our app module. So let's go to app.module. In the providers, I'm going to add photo service. All right, now in the constructor, we're going to add an HTTP parameter. Now here we're going to add a method called upload that takes a file object. Now in the body, we're going to send an HTTP post request to the server. So return this.http.post. The endpoint is /API/vehicles/ Here we need the ID of the vehicle. So we should add that here, vehicle ID. And then concatenate this vehicle ID plus /photos. Now we can make this code cleaner by using template strings in TypeScript. So instead of all these concatenations, we can use the backtick character, which is the character before number 1. And here add /API/vehicles/ Now we want to have a parameter in this string. So $, curly braces, and here we add vehicle ID. So with this syntax, the value of vehicle ID will be inserted here at runtime. And then /photos. Much nicer instead of all these concatenations. Now in the body of the request, we need to send a form data object. So let's create form data. This is one of the native JavaScript objects. So here we add form data dot append. We need to add a key value pair. The name of the key should be the same name as the parameter to our action. So in photos controller, we name this parameter file, and we use the exact same name when testing this endpoint using Postman. So here our key is file, and the value is this file. Now here, because we're uploading a photo for this vehicle, I would like to rename this parameter to photo. All right, finally, we're going to send this form data object in the body of the request. And then map the response to a JSON object. Now let's go back to our component. So view vehicle component. Here we need to add this new photo service as a parameter in this constructor. So private photo service of type photo service. And let's import the namespace. Okay. Now finally here, we're going to call this.photo service.upload. As the vehicle ID, we pass this.vehicle ID. And as the second argument, we pass native element dot files of 0. So here, this files property is a list because this input field can be used to select multiple files if we enable this option. But in this application, we're going to deal with only a single file. So we select the first element in this array. Now, finally, we subscribe. And for now, let's just display the result in the console. Let's try it. So here I'm going to go to the Photos tab, select a file. And now in the console, look, this is the response we got from the server. So a new photo with ID 8, and here's the file name. Next, we're going to display this photo on this page.